Okay, I'm back. The last talk was really short, and this one's going to be longer and also maybe a little more controversial. So, well, let's see how it goes. In the last talk, we discussed two main approaches to finding someone to teach you to meditate. One was to find a Buddhist or other traditional group, and an alternative was to find a neuroscientist or mental health practitioner that teaches meditation or mindfulness. As I mentioned, both of these approaches could be all right, but they both have pros and cons. Let's start with finding a traditional meditation group. Here is where I'm going to get in trouble. And without meaning to, I'm probably going to offend some good people, some of whom I consider to be my friends. What I'm about to say is just my opinion and is just my subjective conceptual reality. And that means it could be wrong. There's no reason that the subjective reality in my mind is any better or more real than anybody else's subjective reality. I would like to apologize in advance for any offense that I'm giving to anyone. To mitigate that offense, I'd like to start with some of the positive things about traditional meditation groups. And I'd have to say, from personal experience, that the first positive thing is that most of these groups are made up of very nice, friendly, and sincere people. Another positive thing is they generally don't charge for attending their meditation sessions. Sometimes they ask for small donations, but even then, if you're short of money, they may let you attend for free. I would say that the most positive thing about most of these groups is that they have a methodology for meditation that works. The methodology has often been practiced and refined over centuries, and it has been passed down from teacher to teacher and has provided benefit to thousands of people. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention some of the negative things that you should watch out for. The first negative thing is that they may serve up meditation practice with a giant dollop of bullshit. Along with the practice of meditation, they may believe in a subjective universe that is not realistic. For example, in my travels, I met a wonderful Buddhist monk who taught meditation. I enjoyed good meditation sessions with him. But besides the meditation, he taught some cosmology. He was certain that there were 13 levels of heaven above the earth and 13 levels of hell below the earth. I asked him how he was certain that it was 13 and not 14, and if he had seen this for himself. He had admitted that he had not seen this, but was sure that it was true because he had been told this by a trusted teacher. This kind of stuff is mild and relatively harmless, and I did not press the point. But there is other types of nonsense that is more dangerous. In my opinion, one of the most dangerous concepts that is taught alongside meditation is that there is some special person, a God King, that is the absolute ruler of the universe, or at least the absolute ruler of the meditation group. He or she has magical powers. They cannot be questioned and have to be given money and worshipped. Having multiple Rolls Royces and private jets is not itself disqualifying, but it should raise skepticism. Maybe I'm just jealous because I have no Rolls Royces nor private jets. And if anyone out there would like to buy me a Rolls Royce, you should really consider finding a better use for your money. Now, there could be a time in your life when you need some guidance or need somebody else to help take responsibility for your life. It might be comforting to know someone that is benevolent who will help you. But if that person believes that they are infallible and that you must obey them, then you should run, or at least politely leave. Another piece of nonsense that you should look out for in a meditation group is the concept that they have a monopoly on truth. Their methodology is the only way to meditate. Their cosmology is the only way to understand the universe. Their dogma is the only thing you should believe. Frankly, this does not seem to be a sign of deep understanding or enlightenment. If you are in such a group, you should be prepared to leave. Without naming any names, I'm aware of one group that if you want spirituality, you have to sign a contract that you will work for them for umpteen million lifetimes, and that you will have a long period in hell if you break the contract. Not surprisingly, the leader of this large group has become very rich and is also known as a sexual predator. I'm no legal expert on cosmic contracts, but I'm quite certain that the contracts with this group are all null and void. I don't believe in cosmic penalties for things, but if it turns out there are any, it is the leader of these types of groups that should watch out. Now, where does all this nonsense come from? These traditional meditation groups are very old. Some go back to the Bronze Age. They tend to have an authoritarian bent and an understanding of the cosmos that has not benefited from modern science or psychology. So it's understandable that there should be a certain amount of error in their worldview. Look, everybody has a subjective worldview. I like to think that my subjective worldview is scientific and skeptical. But that doesn't make it any better or more accurate than anyone else's worldview. I believe that our universe is about 13.7 billion years old. But like the monk who believes in 13 heavens and 13 hells, I don't know the age of the universe from personal experience, just from a trusted authority. So anyway, I don't want to finish this talk on a negative note. So I'd like to review the positive aspects of most traditional meditation groups. 1, mostly very nice people. 2, it's a cheap way to learn to meditate. And 3, they have methodologies that work. Now, if you do decide to go this route, here are a few pointers. You may be able to meet with a group and meditate without officially joining the group. If you do join and they have a hierarchy in their organization, you can stay at the lowest level. Moving up in their hierarchy is not the same as being more spiritual. You can also meet and meditate with multiple groups and notice how they are similar and simply ignore the differences. If at any time you get a bad feeling or are pressured in any way, you should not hesitate to leave the group. It's my experience that Zen groups have less bullshit. But this is not always the case. I once mentioned to the leader of a Zen group that I liked Zen because there was less bullshit. He kind of raised his voice a little and replied that there was no bullshit, which to me was a self-contradicting statement. Anyway, that's my 2 cents about traditional meditation groups. Leave me a comment below if you want a refund on your 2 cents, or if you think I'm wrong about anything. In the next talk, we'll discuss learning to meditate from neuroscientists or mental health professionals. Again, there are pros and cons. Thank you for listening to my rant, and have a great day.